50 cents an hour. Sounds like a good gig to me. Well, we all have people who influence our lives, especially while growing up. They may be parents, teachers, or coaches, and they can change the trajectory of a life. Carolina Impact's Jason Terzas found just one of those very special people at Central Piedmont Community College.
It's a gorgeous spring day at Central Piedmont Community College. Students hanging out, enjoying the sun, and making their way to class.
It's your birthday? What?
And in the center of it all, Jennifer Conway.
You're 19. Well, I'm not born yet. Oh my goodness.
She doesn't technically teach classes here, but everyone, it seems, is her student, and campus is her classroom.
David, I have been telling you for years that you need to go into sales.
Jen is in her 17th school year as CPCC Student Life Coordinator. Her job is to work with students, staff, and faculty to plan, organize, promote, and supervise clubs and activities.
This is the best job.
But it's those things outside of the official job description that make her unique.
You're gonna have great clips for your portfolio.
Everyone loves Miss Jen.
It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, where you're going, like she just wants to help you get there.
When she's not assisting with a giveaway or promotion, there's a pretty good chance you'll find her offering up a little inspiration.
I mean, we've talked about your personality and your drive. I get to work with students every day, and what we do in student life is we change those lives.
She's usually like the first one to come and the last one to leave because students bother her 24/7.
Her work days are a whirlwind. One minute she could be catching up on emails, the next in a closed-door meeting with a student.
And sometimes you have to stop everything if there's a student that needs you and they need to talk about something right now.
I go to her a lot of people do for personal things or academic issues or like for advice, and she's always there to give us advice and support.
You never really know the stories behind our students, and every single one of them has one.
Her office walls are filled with pictures of students, past and present. Her desk cluttered with paperwork, including a handwritten to-do list.
Every day can be different.
And she's always buzzing around campus, office to office, meeting to meeting, student to student.
What else do I know about you? You like to, you're very methodical. You like to take your time.
She's part cheerleader, part counselor, part mom.
She pushes you forward when you need it. Like, if you are slacking, she gets you rolling.
If it wasn't for Miss Jen, I probably wouldn't have gone into PTK. I wouldn't be the president of my club.
We want the baby birds to leave the nest, go on, go, grow, go fly. But we try to give them the best advice that we can so that they can go do those things.
And her relationships with students doesn't end when they leave campus.
And we all have so many that we still check on. I was texting with one today, like, it's a forever thing. If you're part of my family, you're part of my family for forever, and I will always care about you and will always cheer you on.
And it's like lifelong students that invite her to like their weddings and invite her to everything like the baby shower.
Perhaps no student exemplifies this bond better than Patsy Montesinos.
Hi, Miss Jen.
Hi.
Leaving her family in Mexico behind, Patsy came to America by herself as a teenager.
And then when I was 15, I decided to come back to the U.S. to pursue an education.
She was dealing with her parents' divorce, living on her own, and at times, homelessness.
While my high school friends were worrying about their prom dresses and where they were going to party after, I was worrying about where I was going to lay my head.
She finished high school, enrolled at CPCC, and met Jen at a student leadership conference.
So I just got up there and like cried and like told my whole story, and she just kind of like decided to take me under her wing.
She just was at a time and a place where maybe she really needed me. And so I told her, as I tell so many students, and as we all do in student life, like, you'll always have a home here.
She would go out of her way to make sure that I had food on my table, to make sure that I had somewhere to stay, to make sure that I had somehow like a way to get to school.
Last spring, Patsy graduated from CPCC with a perfect 4.0 grade point average, earning a full-ride scholarship to UNC Chapel Hill.
Well, in addition to receiving the Academic Excellence Award, Patsy is making college history today. For the first time in the college's 55-year history, a student will serve as the graduation speaker.
My story of the little girl surviving is now a story of a woman thriving.
Well connected at CPCC, Patsy felt a little out of place in Chapel Hill.
And she said, you know, Miss Jen, they have family weekend up here, and I don't know if you would, but would you want to come for family weekend? And I said, of course, I'll be there.
And so that meant a lot to me.
With blessings from her husband and daughter, Jen went, got a room, bought some Carolina gear, and spent the weekend with Patsy and other CPCC grads.
We went to a football game and they won that day. Thank you, that was because of me.
Making a difference, one student and one experience at a time.
I care so deeply about this community. I'm a Charlotte native, born and raised and educated in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. Did my undergrad at UNC Charlotte. I work at Central Piedmont. I believe in this city. I believe in this place. And I think it's our mission to do everything that we can to pour back into it.
For Jen Conway, it isn't just her job, it's simply who she is.
Jason joins me on the set now. Jason, okay, I've never met her, but I fell in love with her from your story. Is it that easy to fall in love with her when you met her?
Well, it took a little while because she was so busy. So
you couldn't get to her.
Yeah, I couldn't get to her, so I showed up, and it took a while to actually set up. Okay, when can I come over and sit? And then I got there, and then she's meeting with a student, and she's got a call, and but that's fine because as a reporter, that's kind of what I like to kind of sit back and observe, and mental notes, written notes, and just kind of follow along, and that really kind of gave me a sense of how busy she was and what she does and how she helps students and the fact that she's buzzing all around campus. So that kind of actually in a way helped me tell the story.
Does everyone have access to her? Because I can imagine that she'd be quite the popular person on campus.
Yes, and there's quite a few people there working there in student life at CPCC Maine, but you'll always find her. She's right there in the center of campus, right where the little student union is, or outside. They're always doing some giveaway or promotion, and there's a few of the student life coordinators. So they encourage everybody when they get on campus, reach out, get to know, and I think just through the process of being there, she knows people, she pays attention, she watches faces, so she is aware of who people are, who's hanging out, what they're doing, where they're going, and I think that's just in her nature. She kind of befriends people, and it could be something as simple as how'd you do on the test, or really getting into the personal stuff.
When you talk about it, so many of those students at Central Piedmont are first-generation college students, and knowing how to navigate the system, I think, is extra hard for them. What's the important thing for students to realize? I would suspect, is it that they have to self-advocate? I
think to a certain extent, and we always try to remember that students come from all kinds of backgrounds. And so, in the case with Patsy Montesinos and that story there, you don't know what someone's background is. I mean, her family's in Mexico. She came back to the States as a 15-year-old and had no family here for the most part. And so you don't know what kids are dealing with from academically, or what their influences are, whether it was, teachers or parents, advisors. So when they run into someone like a Jen Conway or someone else in that student life organization, those people kind of become their mentors. And so it's partially up to the student to kind of reach out, but it's also, the counselors that's what they're there for. And so whether it is academic help or whether it is student life coordinators or career counselors or health services people, whether it's at CPCC or I would imagine at most colleges, they have those people in place. It's just a question of getting A to B and getting people connected.
What a great concept. I fell in love with her when I saw her at UNC for that student, for her parents' weekend.
That was really, when I saw that was the part where it's like, okay, you want to talk about going above and beyond. This is someone, and not only that, the fact that she's willing to give up her own personal weekend, taking away time from her own family to go and do that, to spend the weekend with Patsy and other CPCC alums, but also the fact she is there, she's texting with former students. So it's not just you're here and you're out the door and we're done with you and we're on to the next one. No, she really does. She gets to know these people, and that's why her network, and that's why it was also so busy to get a hold of her, because she is getting pulled in so many different directions. But when she's got you and you're with her, she's one-on-one with you 100%.
Jason, great story. Thanks so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you, absolutely.